Hello, 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 hello. How are you? And we're live on today's webinar. So glad to see you all, and so glad that you could make it with me today. I'm just trying to take a couple of moments to see if there's going to be a few other people here in the broadcast today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you can hear me and see me okay, just go ahead and put a note in the chat. That would be really great. Just put a little note in the chat saying that you can see and hear me, and that would be great. That way I will know that we are connecting, that you can hear me well, and that you'll be able to get all the great information that I'm going to offer today. So today we're talking about how to write and sell more books in 2016. And that's really coming from the perspective of me being a book coach, and how a book coach can really help you to really create a really beautiful book that people are going to be interested in purchasing, and not just purchasing, but also being able to use that book to be able to grow your business. Okay, so I'm not using any slides today. There's no slides. It's just going to be me and you today. Again, if you can hear me, just go ahead and put a little note in the sidebar there in the chat box saying that you can see and hear me okay. And that way I'll know that I can move forward. So I always like to spend the first couple of minutes just giving you a little bit of a preview of what our time together is going to be about. And so I should probably tell you my name. And if you're just joining me, it'd be really great if you can just go over to the chat room. Go over to the, okay, great, Hitesh. Welcome, thank you for being here. So glad to see you here today. If there's anyone else here, go ahead and just put a note in the chat box and let me know that you can see and hear me okay. And that would be great. But otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and get into some of the content for today and talking about what it is that we're talking about. So we're talking about today how to write and sell more books in 2016. And that really comes from my perspective as a book coach and working with the clients that I do on helping them to write their books, on the various processes that I work with them on writing their books, and how it is that it actually affects their ability to be able to write books, actually complete the books that they're writing on, and to be able to use those books to be able to use that as a platform to be able to launch their business. Okay, so let me first go into a little bit of detail about who I am and what it is that I do. My name is Halana Black. You can find me at digitalwellpublisher.com. That's DIGITALWELL publisher, PUBLISHER.com. That is my website. And what I do is I am a book coach, and I work with mostly women entrepreneurs who are interested in learning how to be able to find as well as strengthen their writing voice so that they can use that in a book. And then we also talk about learning how to be able to use that book as a way to be able to launch or grow their business. People come to me in various stages of the book writing process. Some people have already started writing a book and they come against a wall, so to speak, and they're not really sure how to move forward because they're coming up with particular problems that they want to be able, that they want to be able to solve so they can move forward with the book writing process. Other people are brand new. They may have some ideas. They may even have some ideas written down, but nothing really concrete as far as looking like a book. And in general, the people who come to me are also entrepreneurs. That's very important. I'm not interested in just helping people to be authors for the heck of it. I'm interested in working with people who have a very strong message that they want to be able to get out into the world, as far as supporting other people in their growth and development, as well as a host of other things. But usually the people who come to me are people who really have a deep-rooted interest in improving the world, improving the lives of people in some way, shape, or form, and they want to be able to use their book as a way to be able to spread that message. Okay, so that's a little bit about what I do. What we're going to talk about today, some really important work. We'll be talking about how it is that you can write and sell more books in 2016 by partnering with a book coach. And so we'll get into a little bit more detail as to what it is that a book coach does, or at least what it is that I do as a book coach, what that means to work with a book coach, what does that process look like. We'll also be talking about why you should probably hire a book coach, and how it is that working with a book coach might be a little bit different from, say, taking a writer's class, or even working within a writer's group. We'll talk a little bit about that. And so I'm suspecting that this whole process will probably take about maybe 30, 45 minutes. If you have questions while we're going through this material today, please feel free to leave your questions in the chat box. I always love to be able to answer questions from viewers. So feel free, if you have questions, to write your questions or comments in the chat box. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna move forward. All right, so what's the biggest mistake that I find that entrepreneurs make when writing their first book, generally? The biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make when they're writing their first book. I have 3 here. We could probably, go on and make probably a much larger list. But these are 3 of the main mistakes that I find to be an issue with entrepreneurs who want to write books. Is number 1 is that they believe that they have to do everything by themselves. The self-publishing industry has made it very, very easy for people to publish books in the way that they want to be able to publish them. And because of that, you can quite literally upload a book that you have and quite literally hit the publish button and have things available within a matter of a few hours. However, just because you can do that doesn't mean that you necessarily should. Okay, there's still a number of people that should be supporting you in writing, in editing, as well as publishing your book. Examples of what that actually means. Publishing, you have some other people on your team who gets caught up when they get to the editing portion of their book. Okay, so they want to be able to get some feedback from people about the content that they are putting together, right? They put together the content that they want to be able to put together in their book, and then they send it to an editor. Oftentimes they might go on a site like an Elance or any other site like that, where you're pretty much hiring from a group of freelancers who are interested in editing your book. Now, what they don't realize is that editors often, all editors are not the same. And so when they think about editing their work, they're often hiring someone who is paid to look at their work as a copy editor. And what a copy editor does is they fix the grammar, the spelling mistakes. They may even question you about moving a few sentences around here and there, but they may not be skilled at being able to offer you some really great tips as far as how it is that you can actually improve the book. What pieces of the story is missing? How is it that you can develop certain ideas within certain parts of the book so that your reader is more engaged? Certain, things like that. More of those in-depth story, ideas and tips that writers need. They need that outside influence in order to make sure that they're writing a full book that is going to be of use to your readers. Actually, the copy editing actually shouldn't even come until towards the end of the book writing process. And so having what's called a developmental editor, and that's the type of developmental editing that I do. I work with my clients on a developmental editing process. So it's well before they actually finish their book. We actually start talking about how to be a developmental editor and develop your ideas for your book well before you actually finish it. Okay, so if you didn't know that, there are different types of editors, and oftentimes when you're going onto these freelance sites to hire an editor, what you're often hiring is someone who looks at spelling and grammar and maybe even sentence structure, but they're not really, they may not necessarily be trained to go into the actual meat of what it is that you're trying to express in your book. And actually, developmental editing is something that is often more expensive than copy editing or even proofreading. And so sometimes entrepreneurs may not be interested or may not have the funds to be able to do that. And there are other ways to be able to get around that. But I'm not going to focus on that right now. But that's mistake number one, is that many entrepreneurs who want to be authors make the mistake of thinking that because it's easier for people to be able to self-publish, the self-publishing technology is available, they believe that they have to do the whole process alone, and that's just not true. Number two, they go about writing their book without a business plan. Without a business plan. Now, certainly you wouldn't start a business without a business plan of some kind. And then, your business plan doesn't necessarily need to be this 100 to 200 page project. It could be 1 to 5 pages, just some sort of a general idea of what it is that you're selling, who your target market is, and how it is that you want to be able to, what it is that you want to write to be able to reach your target market, and how it is that you want to sell the book. Very basic ideas that a lot of people miss when they're writing their book. For a lot of entrepreneurs, they just think, oh, I have a great idea, and they just start writing, and then they put it out there into the world, and it misses the mark a lot of times, just simply because they just didn't have a plan in the beginning. Okay, so having a business plan for your book, well before you get into basic things like writing an outline or anything like that. This is the pre-planning process of thinking about who you are and what it is that you are well positioned to write about, and who it is that you are well positioned to support in writing this book, and how it is that you would like to be able to use this book to grow your business. All of those are very, very important questions that entrepreneurs who are doing this whole book writing process alone often miss. Okay, so it's really important. You need to have a business plan of some kind for your book. And that's, one of the things that I work on with my clients is creating a business plan for your book. Where are you going with this book? Where are you starting from? What are some of the experiences, the stories that you can pull from your background to be able to figure out how it is that you'd like to be able to meet this target? Do you want to be able to create a speaking career from your book? Do you want to be a consultant? Do you want to teach? Do you want to be able to travel around the world and be able to teach classes in various cultures on whatever your topic is? Are you more of a person who teaches in a church space, or are you more of a corporate America type person? Or are you crossing between both? All of that is very important, and you need to be able to know. You need to be able to know all these things before you actually start it. So that's why I say having a business plan for your book is super important. And that's the second thing that people often miss, entrepreneurs often miss when they start writing their book. Okay, so the third thing that people often miss when writing their book is that they don't target their book to a particular target market. They often just start writing a book, writing something that they think people might want. They write about whatever it is that they believe is important and what it is that they want to be able to tell people. And oftentimes they wind up missing the mark. You wind up missing the mark. So it's often really important to just ask people what it is, ask your audience what it is that they want, and how it is that you can frame that particular book so that when the book comes out, they'll be interested in buying it. And while I'm at it, I know I said I had number three things that are big mistakes, but I also wanted to add another one. A fourth mistake that authors often make is that sometimes the entrepreneurs don't have an author platform. And an author platform, all that really is just having an audience for the work that you create. Okay, so your audience doesn't have to be, 1 million plus people. I'm not saying that you have to wait until you have built up an audience that large before you actually start creating something. But even if it's just a mailing list of 100 people, 50 to 100 people, just so that you'll be able to have a group of people that you can actually talk to on a regular basis, and you build from there while you're actually writing the book. So you actually want to be able to have a group of people that you can actually talk to on a regular basis about your book, tell them why you're writing the book and how it is that they can support you in actually writing the content for this book, so that by the time the book is done, they're all going to be excited, and these 50 to 100 people are actually going to either pre-order the book or order the book when it comes out on Amazon, or order it from your website, or whatever it is that you want to do. So again, I want to make sure that I express that you don't have to have a huge audience of, 1 million or so people. You can have an audience of 50, 100 people on a small mailing list. Doesn't need to be huge. You just need to have somebody there so that you can ask them the appropriate questions about what it is that you're working on and whether or not it's actually resonating with them. Okay, so that's super important. So those are actually 4 mistakes that entrepreneurs often make when they are when they get into the self-publishing business. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to write a question into the chat box so that I can answer them for you. So why don't we get a little bit into what does a book coach actually do? What does a book coach actually do? I can't speak for all book coaches, just like, I can't speak for all coaches. But I can tell you what it is that I do and the process that I have for working with my clients. And so what is it that I do as a book coach? I tell people that what I do is I help women entrepreneurs, mostly women, and there are some men as well. I help entrepreneurs find and strengthen their writing voice. And then we use your book. We use your book as a platform to either launch or grow your business. Okay? We use your book as a launch pad or a place to be able to grow your business from. Okay? And so that means that people are coming to me in various process of the writing process. Hitesh, you say you've almost finished writing a book and you're about to publish it. Wow, congratulations. That's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about the kind of book that you're going to write? Or the type of book that you're about to publish? That would be great to know. but how it is that I work 15 ways to sales using CRM. Oh wow, that's cool. 15 ways to use sales to make sales using a CRM system. CRM being customer relations management system. Is that what that means? Oh, yeah, customer relationship management. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So congratulations on that. Now, when you're talking about your book as a platform to grow or launch or grow your business, the way I work with people as a book coach is that even before they hire me, I like to be able to get a feel for what it is this potential client actually feels like they need. I need for people to be able to express and know what it is that they need, because I don't really have a set formula for how it is that I work with everyone, because everyone is coming to me in different stages of their process. And when you are working in different stages of your process, you can't really come to people with a cookie cutter map to helping them figure out what it is that they would like to be able to do. So, some people, they need, like a project manager. They might need a strategist. They might need a person who is a sounding board for their ideas. They might need more marketing support. They might need someone who can help them with their publishing options. So they might need a publishing consultant. All of these things are sort of wrapped up into what it is that I do as a book coach. It also entails a lot of other things like life coaching, as well as business coaching. So I say life coaching because I get a lot of people who come to me and they say, they're really, the process of putting their ideas and thoughts into a book and putting it out there into the world is a really scary process. So whether they're talking about very personal things that have happened to them, or if they're doing something like what you're writing, Hitesh, the 15 ways to make sales using a CRM. A lot of times people feel when it comes to them putting their thoughts and ideas and their expertise in a book, they start to doubt themselves. And then they start with this self-sabotaging behavior and things like that. Because when you put your thoughts and ideas into a book, it then makes you an expert. And then sometimes people are not always fully comfortable with that. They're not fully comfortable with that. And it often brings up a whole bunch of other feelings and behaviors that they normally would not, that they normally wouldn't show. And so it's important for them to be able to have someone to sort of help them sort through those feelings and those thoughts. And so that's really kind of where the life coaching and within the book coaching comes in. And then, of course, there's the business coaching. A lot of people may not have any idea on how to even begin a business if they're in the very beginning stages, or they may need someone to look into their business and figure out what is it that they're doing wrong. Why are they not getting the results that they want to be able to get? And they need some support in trying to figure that out. They want to know how is it that they can make the most of their online presence and using online marketing to be able to create a constant flow of customers. And so, that's often quite difficult for people. So that's really where the business coaching comes in into what I do. So, honestly, what I do is a real mixture of book coaching, life coaching, as well as business coaching. So it's sort of like you're getting 3 for 1. And I think that's very unique. There's not a lot there. I've met other people who are book coaches, but they mostly focus on the process of creating the book. And that's really kind of it. They don't really get a chance to be able to expand into other areas of the book writing and entrepreneurship, simply because that's just not what they do. They focus more on the book writing process. So if if you feel like you need some of those things to be able to work with someone, perhaps working with a person like me would be up your alley. And so I've already talked about how the process that I work with is very, very individual. You come to me with your ideas on how it is that you need to be supported, and we come up with a plan for how it is that I'm going to be able to meet up with you on that. And so that could mean helping you create goals, and then we can meet regularly so that we can talk about how you are meeting those goals. What sorts of support or resources or anything else that you need so that you can stay on those goals. We talk about your actual writing and creativity process. What things are you not getting so that you can write comfortably at home, or when's the best time for you to be able to write so that you can actually finish. For some of the books that people are writing, it shouldn't take you years upon years upon years to be able to complete your books. Some of these books can be completed in a matter of weeks or months. But unless it's something where you're doing a whole bunch of research, where you've got to go and do a whole bunch of research in libraries, and you're traveling to other places where you are doing interviews and things like that, then it could possibly take some time. It could, possibly take years. But for many of us, you're not, it's not a PhD dissertation. Okay, you're writing something that is just getting you out there in the market, and you're using it as something for you to be able to get out there and to be able to proclaim to the world what your expertise is and how it is that you can help them. And that shouldn't take forever. Okay. Moving along, let's get into how are classes and writers groups different from working with a book coach? How are classes and writers groups different from working with a book coach? Well, when you work with a book coach, you get intensive attention to your work and your writing process. Okay, when you're working with a book coach, you get intensive attention to your work and your writing process. Writing classes and writing groups are absolutely wonderful resources for people to be able to use. So I'm not saying that you should not invest time or even money in those things, because I think that you certainly should. But it's very, very different. What you're getting from those is very different from what you're getting when you work with a book coach. What you're getting in a writing class, and often a writing book, is they're often larger groups, and so you're sort of getting surface level opinions about what it is that you're writing, and you're not really getting the full look from an outsider who's actually looking at the entire process that you're trying to create here, which is writing a book that's going to build your business. It's not just about the book itself, it's about your book and your business, right? So both of those things are very, very important. So if you're taking a class, as well as taking a class or even joining a writing group, there's very few classes or writing groups that really focus on doing both of those things for you. So it's often really great for you to be able to have a coach who can sort of stand behind you and cheer you on, and really just be a strong supporter of what it is that you're trying to create, and creating this this book that's really going to be helpful for people, as well as so yes, it's just a really intensive attention to your work and your process. So yeah, that's really all that I have for today. I don't know if you guys had any questions for me and what it is that I do. I would love to be able to know how it is that I could further support you, if at all, and what it is that you're doing. But if you are interested in learning more about how we may be able to work together on publishing your book, on writing your book, and using your book as a space to be able to launch or grow your business, I want to be able to introduce you to my creative momentum strategy sessions. Okay. A creative momentum strategy session, what that really is it's an opportunity for you to be able to sit on the phone with me one-on-one. And these calls typically take 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour, where we are really just digging into the details of what it is that you want to create with a book. We talk about where it is that you started from, why it is that you want to be able to create this new business or the business that you actually want to grow. We talk about what your book is about or what your book idea is about and how it is, what support do you need to be able to get that work done. We talk about what does the support that you need actually look like. What is it that you need from me in order to make this partnership actually work in your favor? Okay, so all of those things are things that we talk about. We also talk about what's been stopping you from writing your book. You know, why is it that you haven't been able to reach your goals on your own if you've tried so far? It's really important that I know these things so that I can get a sense of who you are and the type of a person that you are. I tend to work with people who are very go-getter personalities. People who really are interested in creating the best work possible. They just need a little bit of support to be able to make that happen. And they know that they need support in order to make that happen. And they can actually verbalize the kind of support that they actually need to be able to move forward with their project. Oftentimes, the people that I work with, they will express just a real frustration with where it is that they are in life. And they're looking at it as just a real challenge, and they're really ready to just finally make a decision so that they can move forward with what it is that they want to be able to create. They're tired of looking around and seeing other people that they know living lives that they're very happy with. And here you are, you're maybe still stuck in a job that you really don't want to be at. And so you really want to be able to just stop being in that particular space and start getting into a space where you really want to create the life that you were meant to live. And it really all starts with writing your book. So yeah, with writing your book. And so for people who are catching this on the replay, and you don't see the little box here for your creative momentum strategy session, what you can do is you can go online to bit.ly. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/book strategy session. So bit.ly/book strategy session. Okay, so if you're interested, if you would like to be able to know more about how we may be able to partner with developing your book in your business, if you're finally ready to be able to move forward with your plans for your life, and really figuring out how it is your book can really create the business that you've always wanted to create, to be able to start living the life you've always wanted to live, to be able to offer the kind of life that you've always wanted to offer to your children. This could be a great thing for you to be able to do. And I'm always so excited and so honored to be able to talk to people about really their hopes and dreams for their lives and what it is that they want to create. That's just so important for people to be able to be vulnerable on the phone, when they talk to me. They don't know me at all, but they're willing to be able to really be honest about who they are and what it is that they really want. And many times they may not have shared this information with people, even people who are the closest to them. And so I consider it to be very special when people share this information with me, and I don't take that responsibility lightly. So I'm really excited about doing these sessions with people. If you would like to be able to have a creative momentum strategy session with me so that we can figure out whether or not we are a good fit for us to be able to work together on creating your book. Okay. And then again, the website for you to be able to fill out that application for your creative momentum strategy session, it's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/book, BOOK, strategy, STRATEGY, session, SESSION. So bit.ly/book strategy session. And so that's all that I have for today. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this afternoon. Again, my name's Helana Black. You can find me online at digitalwellpublisher.com. I'm a book coach who supports women entrepreneurs, mostly women entrepreneurs, with finding as well as strengthening their writing voice, and then using the book that they create to be able to launch and or grow their business. Okay, so again, you can find me at digitalwellpublisher.com. If you want to do that creative momentum strategy session with me, I'd love to be able to talk with you and get you into my schedule. That's bit.ly/book strategy session. Thank you so much. Have a great day.